Today's video is about the bottles for the wine bottle lamp. We aren't going to go into making the whole lamp. This is just about how to get the bottoms off of the bottles. My sister-in-law and I have tried many of the bottle removal techniques we've seen on YouTube and other places with only limited success rates. She needs really smooth bottoms for her copper and glass sculptures, so even minor cracks on the bottom of a bottle make it almost useless to her. The process you are about to see isn't for everyone, since it requires a pretty good heat source such as a blacksmith's forge fire if it is to work as you see here. I learned this method from a really good blacksmith many years ago, so I can't take credit for it, by the way. Maybe with a little extra care and thought to safety, one could use a burner on a kitchen gas range to do the job. I don't think a hardware store propane torch will get the job done, but I haven't tried one. But I can tell you that it's pretty hard to heat up a piece of half-inch rod to yellow to orange to yellow heat with a hardware store propane torch. The only equipment needs for this process is this homemade ring tool right here, a flat non-flammable surface such as this anvil, and a couple of support blocks. The ring tool is made from a half-inch diameter mild steel rod, and its handle is about 15 inches or so long and about 4 inches OD, probably a half an inch bigger than the outside diameter of the bottle that you're going to work on. The plan here is to heat this 4-inch diameter ring to about 18 or 1900 degrees Fahrenheit, wire brush off any scale that forms on the inside of the ring from the heating process, then place the bottle inside the heated ring. You simply rub that bottle against the ring, going slowly round and round until the bottom goes tink and drops off. I use a couple of supports to hold the tool slightly above the anvil surface. In most cases, some chunks of steel about a half-inch thick will work. Sometimes the bottle will have little bumps or raised writing along the sides close to the bottom. You want to have the contact point of the tool a bit above those protrusions. And some bottles have very thick bottoms that extend maybe a half-inch or more up the side. You want to do your heating just above that area. So here are a bunch of bottles, and I'm just going to talk for a minute about the ones that are the most and least desirable to use. Here are a couple of bottles that have some kind of a coating on the outside, it appears, that's hard to get off. And you know, this one almost looks like it's cast into the glass, but it's not. There's a seam around here someplace, and I suppose you could get those that apparently stuck on plastic cover off, but I would not mess with those bottles. There's plenty of empty wine bottles around without going to all that trouble. So here are some bottles that I've already removed the labels from. Sometimes soaking them in water works. They must use different adhesives, because sometimes soaking them in water, maybe hot water works, sometimes it doesn't work so well. Sometimes adhesive remover works, sometimes it doesn't work so well. Heat works to soften the adhesive itself, but you got to be careful in heating the bottle so you don't heat it up too much on one side with like a heat gun till it cracks. Okay, so the next thing I want to comment is about the color of the bottle. I would suggest, unless you have some real reason why not to use clear bottles. If you're just going to put a little tiny votive candle in there and you want any light out of it, you know, to use as a lighting, you really need pretty clear bottles. This bottle here, which is just a, you know, kind of a light yellow color bottle, isn't too bad, but even that'll hold in a fair amount of light. And these two bottles obviously are darker. This one's even a darker green than this one here. And you don't get a lot of light. You can see it glowing, but that's about it. These blue bottles are really pretty, but again, they suffer from the same thing. You'll see that the votive is lit in there, the votive candle, but you're not going to get much light. So it's really a minimal kind of a mood lighting kind of bottle. They are very pretty though. Okay, so here are the two tools that we're going to use today to heat up the bottom of the bottle and cause it to break off. They're about the same size. This one is a little bit bigger because I have one larger than normal bottle here to extract the bottom from. Okay, let's see. The last thing I want to say is that when you choose a bottle, I don't know if you'll be able to see it here or not, but if we get up real close, you'll see right around the bottom there are some little bumpies sticking out there. Okay, you want to break the bottom off above those bumps and above any thickened part of the bottom of the bottle to get the best results. So you want to definitely be above the bumps. And to do that, we will put the bottle on an anvil, because I'm a blacksmith, and we'll support the ring that we talked about a minute ago up at this level here, so we're definitely above that area where the little bumps are, or where a thickened part of the bottle is. Okay, so now on to the actual process itself. Just for reference, this is the area the blacksmith shop will be using today. There's our source of bottles. There's the forge heating up and the trip hammer. So that's pretty much the blacksmithing area in the shop set up for today. We'll be using that anvil for supporting the bottle bottoms. Here you can see the ring is almost up to temperature. Okay. All right. Here we go. That's like a fourth and a half. Don't give up. There we go. Nice clean break. Just have to be patient. I'm going to lay it down carefully on some insulating material so it doesn't cool too quickly. I just happen to have a piece of fiberglass here, and I'll just lay it right over here someplace and let it cool gently. Okay. Okay, we'll try a green bottle next here. I did go get a glove, an insulating glove, to use to take the little hot bottom off of the anvil. Okay, see how this one goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There we go. Another nice clean break. I forgot how far I counted. Was that 16 seconds or something? I will now go put it down to cool gently on an non-flammable surface. Let's try a blue bottle next. Here we go with a blue bottle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Well, that didn't go. So I'm going to take this one and just stick it just gently into the water here. I guess you probably couldn't see my water, but I just lowered it into my slack tub bucket, not up to the break, but just maybe a 1/4 inch deep, and that was enough of a change to a rapid change, but never above the break. And again, another nice clean break. And here's the broken off bottom. The guy that I learned this from was actually taking the bottoms off of the wine bottles so that he could use these in a, he was using these in a framework that he made out of blacksmith fancy shapes, and then he inserted these, I think, 3 by 3 different colors just to make a pretty wall hanging. Okay, here we go with a, I don't know, is it a gold colored bottle or a funny looking green, olive green bottle? You may have noticed that I went to a lower height of supports because I didn't really need to go up as high on the bottle. So I'm using, what are they, 3/8 supports now as opposed to the 1 inch thick supports that I was using before. Okay, let's try that. This is a little bit bigger bottle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. There we go. Another nice clean break. Yeah, there's a little bit of a crazing right here, but that's not going to be a problem for a wine bottle lamp, that's for sure. So there we have that one. Okay, and there's the bottom for that one. Okay, now I'm switching to a larger diameter bottle, and to my larger diameter ring. Same process, put it in there and turn. Probably should go slower than you saw me going earlier. So I'm trying to go a little bit slower this time. Ta-da! There we are. That's how this works. Put him to cool. And put my glove on. There we go. Okay, I think that's enough of a demonstration. You get the general idea how the process works. You can certainly go to our website, www.spaco.org, and go to my blacksmithing section and look up the wine bottle lamp article, which goes into detail about more about making the lamp itself and kind of this process in a text mode rather than here as a video as you see it now. So you can see from this array of colors how these bottoms themselves might make interesting ornaments. And that's the Bottles for today. So to summarize, select the best bottles. Pick bottles that have the best chance of success if you can. That is, bottles that have the smoothest possible sides, almost all the way to the bottom. If you will be putting candles in these bottles, use only lightly tinted bottles or no light will come out. Get the whole ring of the tool up to an orange heat so you'll have plenty of reserve heat to get the bottom to come off. And as I said a little bit earlier, probably turn somewhat slower than you saw me doing on the first couple of bottles, so that some amount of heat actually does transfer to the glass as you're going. You need a steady hand when holding the ring tool because you need to heat the bottle in a very narrow area for best results. So what I'm trying to say here is you don't want to be going up and down with it. You want to hold it pretty flat. Not too hard to do with this long handle. If after a couple of rounds against the hot ring, the bottom doesn't give and crack off all by itself, lower just the bottom of the bottle, just barely up to the heated zone or even a little below, into a container of water, and the bottom will very likely pop off if it hasn't already done that. This bottle, of course, hadn't been heated.